Yo, what is up YouTube? I'm Lamb Trades, and today I'm going to be breaking down my top 3 stocks for the week of May 7th, 2021. It's kind of crazy, we're in May already, and this week was very hectic, so in this video I'm going to break down exactly what we saw this week and what we're going to be looking at for next week. If you guys are new here, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any content like this. And to begin, let's get right into the economic events. On Monday, we have Jerome Powell speaking, as well as many members of the Fed throughout the week to discuss future monetary policy. Then on Thursday and Friday, we have very important data, as we will cover why it's important later in the video, but we have initial and continuing jobless claims on Thursday, and on Friday, we have that unemployment rate for April. That's very important, as Jerome Powell has said, these jobless claims and unemployment are going to be the thing that he's going to be looking at to start raising those interest rates. So once we get to max employment and we have a lot of people working through the economy again, that's when he'll look to raise those interest rates. So those data numbers will have a big effect on the market. We also have the second week of earnings season, and the ones that I'll be watching are Chegg on Monday, on Tuesday, Pfizer and CVS, with Activision, T-Mobile, Space, and Zillow in after hours. On Wednesday, we have GM with PayPal, Rocket, Uber, and Fastly in after hours. On Thursday, we have Moderna and PENN National Gaming in pre-market. And in after hours, we have Square, Roku, Peloton, AMC, and Beyond. And lastly, but not least, on Friday, we have DraftKings. These are not all the earnings this week, but these are the ones that I'll be watching out for. Now, let's go over what we saw in the markets last week. It was a very eventful week in the markets, but we did pretty much close exactly where we started. As you can see, our open on Monday is pretty much where we closed on Friday. SPY was heavily affected by news this week, as we predicted from last week, and we did get earnings from Apple, Amazon, and Facebook, which were all positive. Powell and Biden speaking on Wednesday did propel the market to all-time high of about 421 on Thursday, only to then sell off 4 points before immediately rebounding 4 points to close the day pretty much flat. We then opened a little lower on Friday and closed down 0.5%, which didn't give us much momentum going into market open on Monday. All in all, a very eventful week, and this week will be very important as well. With all the job data coming out on Thursday and Friday, we'll definitely see the market move off that. I don't think any of the earnings this week will have a huge effect on the market, but it is very important to pay attention to the earnings and how they relate to the relative sectors. I think this week will definitely be one to play off of technicals. The major levels I will be looking at on SPY specifically will be that 416 level, 418, and 420. A break of any of these levels will most likely cause continuation. If we see a push below 416 on Monday, I would expect us to retest that 411 and 410 support level on SPY. And if we break above 418, we'll most likely push towards that 420 level. Tomorrow will mark the first trading day in May, which historically is not an eventful month. The saying sell in May and go away is due to the fact that May through November are usually months of consolidation and profit taking. I would watch for this, as since last November we are up 30% on SPY, so we may see some consolidation in May rather than an all-time high every other week like we have seen in the past 2 months. And lastly, I do want to comment on what Powell said on Wednesday and what it means for the markets going forward. To sum it up, his main point was that we have seen larger inflation numbers come in, and when he said this, he was mostly relating to consumer goods, and he acknowledged the increase in lumber prices. The market initially freaked out because Powell had not said we were experiencing inflation, but only that we were expecting it. He did say we were experiencing it due to supply chain issues and not the increase in money supply. With the increased demand coming out of a pandemic, the supply is unable to keep up, which is increasing the prices. Even though he said this, the Fed will continue their bond purchasing and keeping interest rates at a low. This is bullish, and Powell emphasized that they will wait until they see the data coming in and no speculation. This will be very important to keep in mind as we see those job numbers and inflation data being released. The Fed does not plan on changing interest rates until their criteria will be met, which won't be for quite some time. I think for the next few months, we really won't see any change in Powell's stance, but as the summer rolls around, the Fed may look to step in as inflation numbers rise. Most of Powell's comments and earnings are bullish going into May. We didn't see as nice of a close on Friday as I would have liked to, especially going into a new month, but it'll be very important to see what happens on Monday. But I do think this month will be a consolidation month, and especially going into those summer months that aren't historically months where we see big gains. Now, let's go over the plays we were watching last week. The first play we were watching last week was Fastly. After staying above that 200 SMA, we did retest this resistance trendline on Monday and then again on Tuesday, but after not being able to break above, we broke below that 200 SMA, giving us the opportunity to play Fastly to a 3-point decline in price, only to then break below that support trendline, which we will most likely retest that 62.20 support on Monday or Tuesday, especially going into earnings. I still do like this play for a bounce off of this 62 support, as it has been proven support in the past and more recently, but it'll be very important because now Fastly does have this support trend line that will most likely be used resistance, and this 200 SMA. In addition to this previous resistance, we got a whole lot of resistance, so unless we're able to really break through on earnings, I think Fastly will have a little bit of trouble recovering over the next couple of weeks. It'll be key to see how we react to this 62 support and how earnings plays out on Fastly. The next play we were watching was Lemonade, and this one played out exactly how we wanted, as we saw the break of this downward wedge and we wanted to play the continuation to retest this 200 SMA. We saw straight green for 10 points on Monday and Tuesday. Then once we hit that 200 SMA, we did calm down and sell off for the rest of the week. I can't say anything more about this play as it did play out perfectly. Now I will be watching for a reversal, but I do think we may pull down back to that resistance trend line using it as support. So depending on when we do that, we could retest that $75 to $80 level, or if we're able to just rip right back above with the run up into earnings, I do like if we can get above that 200 SMA. And the final play we were watching was GDX. It was a rough week for GDX after not being able to hold that 9 SMA. We wanted to see us hold that 9 SMA going into next week, which we were able to on Monday. However, on Tuesday, we broke below, which is completely okay, as we said, we were looking for us to retest this previous resistance if we did break below. So going into this week, we'll definitely watch for that. I want to see GDX be able to hold above 34 and possibly bounce off of that 33.76 to 33.4 level. If we are able to do this, I think we are still bullish on GDX, and we will retest that 9 SMA, and if we can push above, retest that 200. But if we do push below, I think we will retest that 32.50 support, and the trend will no longer be valid on that breakout unless we're able to get back above that resistance. This is still a valid play going into next week, and we are able to play in both directions depending on how it goes. I'll be making sure to keep you guys up to date in the Discord. If you want to join, it's free link in the description below. If you guys are still watching, I would really appreciate if you can like and subscribe, as I do put a lot of work into these videos. But for now, let's go over the plays that we're watching this week. The first play we'll be watching this week is Twitter. Twitter sold off after reporting earnings, and I do like us to play this bounce. Now, as you can see, we did retest this bottom support trendline on Twitter and were not able to hold, which is bearish. However, if we look on the daily time frame, we have this really strong support trendline going into that 200 SMA. Even though we did break out of this bottom support, I do like the chances of us bouncing on this $53 to $51 level. It'll be very important to see what we do throughout the next couple of days, as if we do bounce, turn this resistance, and have enough strength to break below the support trend line, that will be very bearish, and I do think we will fall for a decent amount. But if we can get back above, that will be really bullish going into the next couple of weeks, and we can possibly even retest that resistance. The thing with this sell-off is it is more fundamental rather than technical, so the earnings turned a lot of investors away, and the investors aren't likely to reinvest, or Twitter isn't going to get much love over the next couple of months because of how they've done over the past quarter. The bounce I'm looking to play is more technical, but will be influenced by that fundamental earnings. So we have to put both into account. I do think Twitter is currently oversold with RSI in the 20s, and I would like to see Twitter bounce. If not, we'll be ready to play to the downside, but I'll be looking to that $51 to $53 level for us to see a bounce going into next week. The next play I'll be watching is more of a duo play, as we have Square and PayPal reporting this week. So I'd like to cover Square and PayPal and why I think there'll be great setups going into next week. As you can see, we have these many levels on Square, and we did close below that 246. We do have that 200 SMA right below, and do have some support at 242. Now, the reason why I like Square so much is because we have these levels. Square is a big runner, and usually when we break above or below one of these levels, we're able to see it really run. I think we do run up going into earnings. If we sell off, we have that 200 SMA to save us, but if we can run up going into earnings, it's a great opportunity to play these levels. Then, if we look on PayPal, we can also see that it does look exactly the same with these levels. We have a 276 resistance with a 255 support, and we do have this previous support trendline that we turned resistance. PayPal is expecting a $14 move, so depending on how we move, it'll be important. If we do break below the support at 255, I'll expect us to possibly fall all the way to 227, just because we kind of have that gap to play. I think both of these are very important going into earnings, and I will be updating the setups and how they're looking throughout the week in the Discord below. I'm not so much looking to play the pre-earnings run-up or sell-off, but I am looking to play continuation on these many different levels on both of these stocks. And lastly, our final and favorite play is again a little bit of a sector play rather than a specific play, but it is DraftKings and PENN. So we are in a put spread for the small account challenge on DraftKings, and the reason why is we are in that support zone going into earnings, and I do like the chance of us bouncing if we could carry higher on Monday, putting in a higher low. However, this downtrend is looking a little bearish, and if we do break below that 55.5, we are out of the position. But I do like the chances going into earnings that we get a run up. So depending on what happens, I think it'll be really bullish. Why I like this DraftKings play is because DraftKings and PENN usually play off each other, and if PENN reports nice earnings, then DraftKings will get a little boost. And because PENN is reporting earlier than DraftKings, I think we'll see some bullish continuation on both. One of the main reasons why I think PENN is a little bit of a better play is because we do have that support trend line rather than where DraftKings we're kind of in the middle of a range. And PENN, we are sitting on that support trend line with that 200 SMA on the daily right below. So I do think, especially with the run up into earnings, we get a bullish bounce on PENN, and I will be looking to get into some put spreads on the small account challenge through PENN, but I will keep you guys updated in the Discord. So I will be watching for a bounce on both. I want to see DraftKings bounce from that support zone and PENN bounce from that support trend line. I'll be keeping you guys up to date as going into earnings. These will be very important, and if we do break out of these patterns and see a break below that support or a break above, we could see some continuation, especially on PENN and DraftKings. The reason why I'm so bullish on the sports betting sector is because we do have both companies reporting their earnings from last quarter, which included Super Bowl and March Madness, which are two of the biggest sports events throughout the entire year. That is all for today. Those are my top 3 plays for the week. I'll be keeping you guys up to date in the Discord linked below. If you take a look, we are posting setups every single night, going over what happened throughout the day and what we're looking at going into the next day with the premium challenge long term. We have a trading chat where you can really talk and discuss different plays with other traders. So if you would like to join, it's linked in the description, completely free. I hope you guys have a great week, and if you did get anything out of this video, please remember to like and subscribe, as I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.